Oh man, I don't know what to say, guys. I just finished watching Raw after WrestleMania. Really interesting way to end this show. Brock Lesnar brutally, and I mean brutally, attacked Cody Rhodes uh, to end the show of it. And I mean just beat down after beat down, F5s, uh, you know, hitting him with steel chairs, throwing the steel steps on him. They tried to come and stop it, but he just kept going. Wow. On a very, very interesting night. And I'll say this, like, you know, Raw after WrestleMania is usually known for returns and debuts. And we didn't see too much, returns or debuts this particular WrestleMania, Raw after WrestleMania, like we've seen in past years. And this is the first time Trips was, taking over as far as, the Raw after WrestleMania. But I still thought it was a pretty decent show overall. Um, you had some really probably more promos than matches. Actually, the show started off with Trips referring to the sale, saying that they weren't going anywhere, thanking the fans and saying that nothing could have been done about them, and all the talent and just the reception he got. So that was like the start of it. Then Roman Reigns coming out and you know asking Los Angeles to acknowledge him, and basically before he could really get going, Cody Rhodes came out, told him he wanted to fight him right there, right now. Of course, Paul said that Roman didn't want to fight him then. He didn't want to fight him tomorrow. He didn't want to fight him at all. When he said rematch, and then ultimately he said, "Well, if you're not gonna fight me, let's do a tag match." Since I basically wrestled a 2-on-1 match at all last night, which he did, and as someone that been watching the product for some time, I just don't get why. I mean, I knew they were gonna probably have Roman win to milk the whole 1,000 thing, but it really sucked to see Cody to lose that match. But needless to say, I thought it was weird that because basically Paul said that you're not gonna find anybody because the person that teams up with you, because whoever teams with you has to be someone who wrestled at WrestleMania and somebody who um, and they'll never be able to challenge for the title. Like whoever teams with them, they will never be able to challenge as long as Roman's champ for the WWE Universal title. And then out comes Brock Lesnar. So in my mind, I thought it was a little weird. You know, I, we haven't seen Brock wrestle on Raw in like forever. I mean, I think the last time he was like going to do that was when he lost to Seth. I mean, when Seth took the title from the night after WrestleMania 31, he wanted to wrestle the Rock to WrestleMania, but that did not happen. I think he got himself suspended or something. Um, and it was just weird. And Brock came out all hugging and smiling like they were gonna like he was gonna team up with Cody. And as Corey Graves alluded to, like it didn't. That stipulation didn't apply to Brock because after his match with Roman at SummerSlam last year, he already can't challenge Roman. So that makes sense in that aspect. So then the match, it's like it's about to start. Roman comes out with Solo, and out of nowhere, Brock just F5s Cody. Roman Roman and Solo are gone, um, and then he just beats the mess out of Cody the next for the next several minutes. Um, Man, and I think it was just announced that WWE, um, partnering up with UFC. Um, like this is where the sales going. WWE's merging with UFC and Endeavor. So maybe you start to wonder if this has a lot to do with it. But I just thought it was interesting because, you know, it definitely got you wondering what's going to happen next week. Why this even happened, like, because it definitely had me wondering. I don't think anybody really expected this. I think most people first, you figured Cody would be upset for losing the way he did because he got screwed, as most Roman matches go, which is unfortunate, especially with this one, because the way that this was built, it was like the perfect time for like all the Usos, all of the bloodline to drop the belts. But you know, I think it was obvious when he beat Solo Sikoa on Raw last week that he wasn't going to beat Roman at that point. I feel like that just kind of gave it away, like it was too good to be true that he would actually beat Roman clean of all things. But this was just crazy. Brock just, probably the second craziest moment of the night, aside from the stuff with, the Judgment Day and the Bad Bunny, and of course, to happen early in the night. Um, but yeah, one thing I'll say, it definitely got people talking. It's definitely going to have a lot of people talking. It's just going to lead to some Cody and Brock feud now. It's interesting, because we all thought, Cody would still chase the story, you know, maybe take the belt from Roman in future months. But based on how this just went, I mean, it seems like they are going in a completely different direction. Um, Now, I mean, granted, you do still in the bloodline. It does still seem like they could potentially be breaking them apart from the Usos, based on the fact that Roman, said he didn't need their services, for the main event, even though he didn't wrestle. Um, so there is something going on there, and we'll just have to kind of wait to see what happens with that. Um, but that this is a very interesting story as to what will happen, uh, to Cody at this point. Uh, did not expect it. I don't think anybody did. Props to everybody for putting this show, because it was some pretty interesting swerves and counters tonight. I really, I just don't think anybody really expected this to take place in the way that it did. But and a night that was, like I said, not your typical, uh, not after WrestleMania, but you did get the return of Matt Riddle, and that was good because he's been gone since December the 4th, I believe. That's when he, was suspended for a wellness policy, fell in it, but Soul had took him out at the time, and so it was nice to see him back. It would have been even nicer if we got to see Randy Orton, but apparently he's still not ready to come back yet. So it was a nice little touch to see Riddle come back when The Miz was complaining about, wrestling 3-4 matches at WrestleMania, and that there would be no more surprises. Then Matt Riddle came out. He tried to attack him. Matt Riddle, hit him with the broke Derek. So that was nice to see Matt Riddle back, because, Matt's been gone for a while now, and he had a really good thing going with Randy. And then when Randy got injured, it seemed like they were going to have Matt, step it up and, go a little further. But, that was not the case, not to be. Um, Come to think of it, I think Matt Riddle actually um, was also under that stipulation where, um, if he lost. So that's why I thought the Brock thing was weird. Because come to think of it, yeah, Brock had that stipulation last year. But Matt Riddle also had that stipulation. Like, it was a match he had with Roman on SmackDown, I believe. And the stipulation was that if he lost, he could never, he couldn't challenge Roman for the belt as long as he was champ. And so I would have actually used Matt Riddle for that with Cody versus using Brock. But with the way that the show ended, and you kind of, um, like I say, you just you don't really know what to expect. It's really interesting. Um, we had the Street Profits Challenge, Kevin and Sammy, um, in a non-title match, really good match. As Kevin and Sammy said, they were ready for anybody, to step up against them. And Sammy was thanking the family. Kevin was like, "It's no better, time to thank them before a fight." They were the ones who answered it, which makes sense because they won the showcase match. Uh, I was expecting maybe they would stretch this out to like Backlash or something for them to get the title shot, but nope, that was not to be. They got the shot here, but the match was really good. Um, Ultimately, Kevin and Sammy just won the belt, so you figured they were going to win here. Uh, and so that was a really good match. Really excellent tag team match. Um, you figure Usos probably uh, will somehow still get their rematch at Backlash before you see Kevin and Sammy do more things with other teams. But this was a nice first step for them to, do something outside of what they were doing with the Usos at the moment. Um, my only negative was Damage Control losing again to Raquel and Liv, which to me, I mean, Ron and Shayna won a showcase match, so why are they getting a tag title match next week? I don't know. But, yeah, you had a lot of other crazy spots. Bobby squashed Mustafa Ali. It's like they're starting to feud with him and Bronson Reed. Uh, you know, Rey Mysterio um, feud with his son continues, except now Bad Bunny's in the mix because, he punched Dominic and Dominic got in his face and tried to throw a jab at him and then got attacked by Damien of all people. So that's Damien clotheslined him and put him through a table. So that's going to be interesting for Backlash. I'm really, looking forward to how they're going to do that because, it's definitely got a lot further than where it was. Um, that was another major highlight of the night, how they were treating and stuff. Um, but yeah, really solid Raw. I think for this this Raw for something that didn't have as many like no call ups or anything like that that showed up. One return with Matt Riddle, but I think overall though, you know, even stuff like just Seth coming out just to hear the crowd sing to his song really made the show good. And then just the ending was extremely unpredictable. You just feel bad for Cody because of how that played out, but at the same time, you're kind of curious to what's going to happen next. So it's a really interesting dynamics. I just want to put that out there, and we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Sorry for the rest of X.